Welcome to the Coach He is Trash podcast. This is Sports Edition. I'm your host, Adrian, aka It's Only 1 a.m., aka One Day, aka The Heartbreak Kid. I'm here with my co-host now, Style, aka The Mole, aka Friend Zone Breaker.
Finally, time for serious talk, things that matter.
Serious talk, things that matter. So let's get right into the shits. Now, a lot of bottom NBA teams are saying that they won't even finish the season. We have two confirmed teams. We have the Warriors and we have, I think, the Cavaliers saying they aren't coming to compete. They're both mathematically eliminated from whatever playoff they'll have in Orlando or things of that nature. Do you think that's the right move for these guys?
If I was the NBA, and I'm not, there would be a small play-in tournament for the 8th seed, and then the Eastern Conference is 7th seed, because the 8th seed and the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference have the same exact record. If you're within 5 games of that seed, you can play in. Anybody else? No. You're eliminated, right? You cannot play in. We don't need you to show up to training camp. We don't need you to play any consolation games. It doesn't matter. Number 2, the first round of the NBA playoffs will be a 5-game series, like in the 90s, right? It's a 5-game series. They don't need the full 7 games. Whoever wins in the first, it would make it more competitive as well, because the first 2 games will be competitive as shit. Whoever goes up 2-0 in a 5-game series is winning that series, right? So the 4-5 series would be lit. The 3-6 series would be amazing, right? Those 2 series would be, a 5-game series. It would make it way more competitive in the first round, because the first round of NBA playoffs is a fucking joke, right? Nobody cares about that shit. Doesn't matter. So you would make it a 5-game playoff and also a small play-in tournament for the 8th seed in the Western Conference, 7th, 8th seed in the Eastern Conference.
So
if those other teams at the bottom are upset because they don't get a chance at the playoffs, they can kiss my ass. They suck. They're not good. It doesn't matter. The Phoenix Suns, no, you're not good. Who cares? You weren't going to make the playoffs anyway.
So just to be clear, you are against the NBA FIBA type setup.
I'm against the
top 20 teams.
Yeah, no, we don't need the top 20 teams. The NBA is a 16-team playoff. I think the 16-team playoff is perfect. If you want to do the top 16 teams in both conferences, that's cool, right? That's fine if you just want to say, fuck it, we're going to test this out this year where we're not going to do 8 and 8. We're going to do the just best 16. That's cool, but it's a 16-team playoff. There's no reason to open it up to 24 teams or make it, 20 teams. It doesn't make sense. I don't want to see the Kings and the Spurs in the playoffs, and I also don't want to see the fucking Pistons and the Knicks in the playoffs. They're terrible teams.
I feel like it's not fair to just have, them battle out for the 8th seed, because the 8th seed and the 7th seed, those teams in both conferences had the hardest schedule to play. They had the hardest games to play left. All the teams only played 63 or 64 games. They had about 18 more games to play. The Grizzlies had the hardest schedule in the West Coast Conference.
Do you think in a 1-game winner-take-all, the Grizzlies would be the Portland Trailblazers?
No.
Exactly. Do you think in a winner-take-all 1-game playoff, to get into the playoffs, the Memphis Grizzlies would beat the San Antonio Spurs?
No.
Do you think in a 1-game playoff, the Memphis Grizzlies would beat the New Orleans Pelicans? Oh, my bad. Pelicans.
No. So
exactly.
My question is,
if you do a play-in tournament, all 3 of those teams are better than the Memphis Grizzlies. If you did a regular season, one of those teams would take that spot. If you did a play-in, one of those teams, whoever comes out, because the Suns and the Kings aren't beating any of those teams either, right? So you got the Spurs, the Trailblazers, who I would pick the Trailblazers to be the 8th seed. Spurs, Trailblazers, Pelicans. They would all bust the Grizzlies' ass for a winner-take-all, be the 8th seed.
So my question is, why are the Grizzlies the only team that has to give up a spot to fight for? Why can't we go best of 20 teams, FIBA rules, where you have to win? They only pick 2 teams from each group to move on to the next round.
Adrian, if there was no coronavirus and the season ended as it should have ended,
What teams I think about the playoffs?
Yes.
Grizzlies on the West.
No.
Yes, that's it.
Hell no.
The Mavs would have made it. The Mavs would have made it. The Mavs.
Yeah, Mavs would have made it. Absolutely.
From 8 down, we got Grizzlies at 8, Mavs at 7, Rockets at 6.
But the Mavs were 8 games ahead of the Grizzlies.
They were. That's what I'm saying. So the Grizzlies are the only team that I see losing.
Exactly.
But I feel like, just to be fair, they shouldn't be the only team that have to play for their seed.
No.
Just because you're the 8th seed don't mean shit.
In the Western Conference, it would be the Grizzlies because everybody else is 8 games above them. There's no argument. My whole thing is, there's no argument you can make. If you're a team out of the playoffs, Portland, San Antonio, New Orleans, there's no argument you can make that says, I would have called the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, it is. We just won't play. That's my argument. You want to have a tournament at Orlando? We're not coming. We're not playing.
Guess what?
So now it's a big asterisk.
Don't come. You're not going to be the 7th seed. You could be the 8th seed.
So it's 18 games left, and you don't have nobody. You don't have nobody coming but the 16 teams in the playoffs. How's that respected? 18 games left.
Listen, if you're stupid enough, if you're an NBA player and you're stupid enough to come to the commissioner's office, and I'm gonna say stupid, to come to the commissioner's office and say, we should be playing for a 7th seed, you're dumb. The Portland Trailblazers had what, 28 wins, 29 wins.
At the time that it ended?
Yeah.
They were 3.5 games behind the Grizzlies. I think the Grizzlies had
So they had 29 wins. The Grizzlies had 32. So they had 29 wins. Dallas Mavericks had 40 wins. The Portland Trailblazers are 11 games back from the Dallas Mavericks. There's 18 games left to go in the season.
Doesn't matter.
All Dallas has to do is go 7-11. They can be shitty. That's what, 40%? All they have to do is go 7-11, and their spot secure. And even if they go 7-11, Portland has to go 18-0. They have to win 18 games, no losses.
At that time, no, it really doesn't. At that time, I really feel like it doesn't matter because we could have went 18-0.
No, you couldn't have. And if you went 18-0, Dallas would have to go 7-11.
All right, so I just pulled up the standings here.
Mm-hmm. Eastern Conference is different. Look at the Western. Eastern is a little more open.
Look at the conferences.
Yeah, go to the Western. Eastern's more open. Eastern, you can fight for the 8th and 7th seed.
Okay. There we go.
29 wins by the Trailblazers, 40 by the Dallas Mavericks. 18 games left in the season. Dallas would have to win 7 games and lose 11. And Portland would have to win 18 games in a row.
So the question is...
It's not going to happen.
But the question with that is, so what was the main reason that people were saying the Western Conference teams couldn't play the Eastern Conference teams in the first round? Travel reasons.
Yeah.
So now that we're all together, what are the reasons now that I can't compete for Eastern Conference seed? Because on the East Coast, the 7th seed is 30 and 34. That is 1 game ahead of 4 teams in the West Coast.
So what you're talking about is 2 different things. If we want to throw the entire NBA playoff system out and go to just best 16 teams, sure. Yeah, go ahead. Have mayhem. Because it's going to be hell sorting that out. Listen, the 7th and 8th seed in the Eastern Conference both have 30 wins. But then you have the Washington Wizards at 24 and the Charlotte Hornets at 23, right? You have to allow them a chance to play in because that's only 6 games back and 7 games back, but 18 games left to go in the season. So now you're talking about 2 teams on their side. Now you go to the Western Conference. You got a team with 29 wins. You have 2 teams with 28 wins. You have a team with 27 and a team with 26. You're talking about 7 teams who are not in the playoffs playing in addition to the 7th and 8th seed in the East and the 8th seed in the West. That's a 10-team playoff to determine who's the best 16 teams.
So
that's ridiculous because you have to finish the season quickly or else you're going to mess up the 2021
That's
season.
ridiculous. Let's talk from a money standpoint. Let's talk from all the games we missed, all the ads we missed from ESPN, from TNT to ABC. Let's talk from a money standpoint. What's the league is talking from? From a money standpoint, what's your best route? to let all those teams play.
If from a money standpoint, the best
That's
route.
all it ever is.
No,
So
from a money standpoint, the best route is to let's just play 5 regular season games. Bad teams, good teams, everybody. Play your next 5. So the season ended on March 18th or some shit, March 16th, whatever. Everybody just plays their next 5 games that were going to happen from that point on. Right? If your record lines up, you get into the playoffs. If your record doesn't, you get into the playoffs. But the bad teams aren't going to play. Why would Steph Curry and Klay Thompson come back to play 5 games in the middle of the summer for no reason? They're eliminated from playoffs.
Right.
Exactly. So it's not going to work. It's not feasible. Right? From the money standpoint, let's get every team out there because Golden State's a huge market. Minnesota's a pretty good market for the NBA. It's decent. It's small, but it's decent. New York's a good market. Detroit's a decent market. Who else is Atlanta? You got some good teams. You got some good markets out there who need to play games and their fans want to see them and they want to buy jerseys, blah, 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 blah. So from the money standpoint, best part is to try and salvage some part of the regular season. From a standpoint of, can we get this season finished and still play next season? You have to do it a different way. Now, if the commissioner just wants to say, all right, this season's a wash, we can't finish it. Best record is the NBA champion, Milwaukee Bucks. Next year is the real...
That ain't working.
Exactly. Next year is the real season. Then go ahead and do that. But money standpoint, there has to be a regular season. It's never going to happen. You gotta go somewhere in the middle. I'm telling you.
So you're against the 83% of the general managers who want the 20-team play-in, top 20 team in the league play-in.
Yeah, I don't like it. It doesn't make sense. Because what you would end up...
So you have a problem with FIBA. You have a problem with FIBA and how they play things?
I have a problem. No, in a regular NBA season, totally fine. Top 16 teams get in. I'm cool with that. In this broken NBA season right now, we're in June. This is June right now. The NBA Finals will be over in like a week. And then the NBA players would have 3 to 4 months to recover. And then the NBA season would start. Right? By all estimates, the NBA season is not going to return before July. So think about this. If you have a 10-team plan, we just counted the teams. If you have to do best 16 teams, 8th seed in the West, and then, 6 more teams in the West?
Yeah.
And then 4 more teams in the East. All have to plan. That's a 10-team plan.
For the 8th seed.
For the bottom 4 seeds.
14 through 16.
Yeah, 14 through the bottom 3 or 4 seeds or whatever, right? 10-team plan, which is ridiculous for 3 seeds. That's going to take at least 2 weeks. Next thing you know, it's August. Yeah. It's good for money. But it's just pointless because next thing you know, it's August, right? Then you start the real playoffs. Then the real playoffs aren't done until the middle of September. Now the new season's supposed to start on Halloween. Players got
Put it out the window.
Exactly.
You know it's starting on Christmas.
Exactly.
You know it's starting on Christmas.
Exactly.
So let's talk from that standpoint.
So why waste money? You can salvage the season. The season should really start on Christmas, but you can start it around Thanksgiving.
Preseason.
You can start preseason November 1st. And you can start regular season games November 20th. And, teams build up. You get to know who's good. You get to know who's not good. And you make like a flexible Christmas schedule or something like that. You do that for 1 year, flexible Christmas schedule. And you do something like that. There's no way you can do that if you end the season at the end of September. And that's what would happen if you do a 10-team playoff. Just do the fucking 6 teams who actually have a shot at making the playoffs. Let them play in. Once they get in, that's it. You start. That will be a 1-week tournament. If there's 6 teams who have to play in, that's 1 week. This team plays the next team, they lose. That team plays the next team, they win or lose.
So let me break down.
And then you go like that. That's a 1-week tournament.
Let me break down the current, for the fans, the current NBA, 83% of general managers have agreed to this term. What they want to do is the FIBA playout. They want to do 5 groups of 4. Which is 20 teams, and they want to play. They want the best 2 teams from each group to move on, like that.
This is not the World Cup.
I think that's the best option. Me personally, I think that's the best option because I think the Rockets. If you have to play the Rockets twice, you're not losing twice to the Rockets.
How do you determine the groups?
You seed them 1 through 20. So the Lakers will play. The Lakers will be in the same groups as 1 through 20. I guess Lakers will be in the same group as.
So this is what
Knicks.
you would do with this is what you would do with the seedings. 1, 2, 3, 4 on one. This is just one sided bracket. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a 1 seed in this bracket. 1 seed. 1 seed. 1 seed.
Right.
2, 2, 2, 2, 2. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4.
Right.
You're talking about the NCAA tournament.
Right.
There's no point to that. Just seed them. The 1 seed versus 16. The 2 seed versus the 15.
Best of what?
5 in the first round. Everything else 7 round. That's why it wouldn't work. You can't do the NCAA tournament in the NBA. Now, if the NBA just says 1 game playoff, and then the NBA Finals is a 3-game playoff,
they'd blow them out. If they did,
I'm cool with that.
If they did what you were saying, 1 versus fucking the 5 seed, 5 games, it'd be a fucking blowout.
Exactly.
Every game would be a blowout.
Exactly.
The Lakers will blow the Cavs out. Lakers will blow the Knicks out 3 games in a row.
Exactly. The group seeding.
Think about the money. You think it from a reasonable standpoint.
Oh, no. I understand the money. The money is cool. Like I said, if I was an NBA general manager or an owner, and I was like, how can we recoup some of our money? You want to play about 5 to 10 regular season games. You can't get the whole 18 back, but you want to play about 5 to 10 regular season games, and that's how you end up getting some of your money back. Me personally, if I was an NBA general manager and owner, I would say this season, just play in for the 8th and the 7th seed.
But you're speaking from a general manager just in high ranking.
Any general manager and owner, I would say,
if you're a low ranking GM, you're thinking about the money. You're like, we need to sell more. We need to sell more jerseys, more things like that.
No.
And we need to have a chance to play in because
if I'm the Atlanta Hawks,
Bradley Beal, Steph Curry, Damian Lillard already said if we don't have a real shot to get into the fucking playoffs, we're not playing. We're not showing up.
But see, it's stupid because Steph Curry, you're not going to have a shot to play in. You're eliminated. You were already eliminated. It doesn't matter what you say. You're eliminated. You can't get a shot to play on. Bradley Beal, maybe. Yeah, sure. The Wizards could get a chance. Damian Lillard, if there was any play-in tournament, the Portland Trailblazers are the 9th seed. They would be the first ones to get a chance to play in. So whatever he's talking about is also stupid. But if I was a low...
Quick question. New Orleans or Trailblazers?
Trailblazers. Just because they're hungry. Just because New Orleans is young. They young. Dame, CJ, Hassan Whiteside, and Melo, they want to be in the playoffs.
I like Lonzo on Damian, 30.
I don't care what the matchups are. Damian, CJ, Whiteside, Melo, they want to be in the play. They was talking about it before the season ended. They was like, we on a roll right now.
They were cooking.
They was like, we everybody's healthy. We getting ready to go on a roll. We might make some noise. I'm taking Portland over anybody. But listen, if I'm a low-level GM and I'm like the Hawks GM or owner, or I'm the Cleveland Cavaliers owner or GM, I want this season over as quickly as possible. So that way we might be able to have a full season next year. I'm not going to make any money by having my team play at Disney World with no fans. I'm the Cleveland Cavaliers. We're not selling no jerseys. Who's my star player? Kevin Love. We're not selling no jerseys.
You call that star, yeah.
Exactly. We ain't selling jerseys. We don't have any fans going down to Orlando to watch our games. We don't have
fans tuning in. But each team
we're the Cleveland Cavaliers. We don't have
each
nothing.
team has a separate TV contract because
of course, but they're not going to honor that.
Yeah, they will because Philadelphia has Comcast. No, what's the Philadelphia? It's
Comcast Sportsnet.
Comcast Sportsnet. They'll air games from Orlando, whatever.
That's for the big markets. For the small markets,
they have TV. They have TV stations.
For the small markets like Phoenix and Comcast Sportsnet is a bad example because that's Philadelphia based.
No, but they have TV. All of them have TV stations.
They do. They're called Fox Sports Southwest, Fox Sports Northeast,
and they'll all film those games.
No, they won't.
You think
Fox Sports Central is not going to pay for flights, hotel accommodations, etc., for announcers for the Cleveland Cavaliers to play 5 games in Orlando with no crowd and no revenue. It would be the TNT crew, or they would designate the ESPN crew or whoever to announce certain games.
And they would just stream that broadcast.
ESPN has like 5 different crews. That's what you're forgetting. ESPN, TNT, the big stations, they got like 5 or 6 different crews. We're playing at Disney World. They're allowing us to use their facilities. You don't think ESPN's going to say, hey, we got 4 different people who can announce each different game?
So you don't think Phoenix Comcast will stream that same game because they're trying to honor that contract?
Fox Sports Phoenix would not have.
So what's the crew they send out?
They would have to.
What's the crew they send out to?
They would send out Doris Burke and Hubie Brown to announce the game. Exactly. So it would be Phoenix versus Washington for a chance to play for 16. Why would it? No, they're not going to send their local guys out there. That's too.
Do you think Vegas has any influence on this?
A little bit, sure. They want them to play more games.
Yeah, Vegas want the Cleveland Cavaliers and Washington Wizards to play.
Hell yeah, Vegas wants more games. But like I'm saying, if I really wanted money, 5 regular season games. Everybody finish out the year, 5 more games. Everyone gets to play. You get to have some fun. Your family comes out. Blah 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 blah. We get some gambling money. We get some entertainment. Some of the players are happy. Some are not. Whatever. You gotta shorten it. If I'm an owner and I want to make the most money, get this season over quickly. Let 6 teams play for the 7th and 8th seed in the East, 8th seed in the West, or you do top 16. It's 6 teams. Whoever's within 5 games of those things, play in. You get in, you don't. Get the season over with so we can start in November next year.
So if I'm an owner, if I'm an owner, I want to get as many teams as we can to play, because I want to have my teams on national TV as much as possible. Because every team, no matter what market they're in, I understand what you're saying, small market shit, but I understand what you're saying. No matter what market they're in, big market, small market, they're going to be on NBA TV because it's the only thing that's going to be playing. Only on ESPN, only thing that's going to be playing live sports. They're going to be on whatever the local market is. Only thing playing live sports, betting, everything like that. I want every team to play.
Adrian.
Now, every team mathematically won't play. I do not think the Warriors will be coming out to wherever they're going to play. I think the Warriors are done, mathematically eliminated.
Yeah,
I think the
so
Cavs
are the
Timberwolves.
Yeah, so are the Cavaliers.
Cavs, Timberwolves.
So are the Hawks.
I think all those teams are done. But everything other than that, I think those teams, I think Phoenix will be wherever. Phoenix will be wherever
they're
it is.
Actually close.
Playing.
They're closer than we thought.
So I think Phoenix will be there. I think the team in the East will be there. I'm not sure off the top of the head.
Detroit, Washington, one of those Knicks. But
I think they'll be there. Period. So for you to say that they're all fighting for the 8th seed, that's not going to happen. I think they're fighting for 1 through 20, and they'll play and they'll rank them after that.
If I'm the NBA commissioner, and a team like Portland says, we just want to play in a tournament where we can get seeded 1 through 20, they can kiss my goddamn fucking ass. There is no way that the Portland Trailblazers are allowed to take the Denver Nuggets seed. There's no way I would allow that to happen. The Denver Nuggets played 65 games, 63 games, whatever, 64 games, and they earned their seeding. There's no way I would allow a tournament where a team like the Portland Trailblazers, the Phoenix Suns, the San Antonio Spurs, Sacramento Kings, Detroit Pistons, New York Knicks, Orlando Magic, Brooklyn Nets, there's no way I would allow a tournament where any of those teams could take a top 4 teams seed. That's unconscionable. It would not happen in regular play. So that would be my whole mindset as the NBA commissioner. That's my whole mindset. Is this something that could happen in regular season? No. Okay, well then it's not on the table, right? What Portland would have to win, so for Portland to end up with like a top 4 seed or something like that, they would have to win 18 straight games, and they would need somebody like the Nuggets to win 2 games and lose 16 games. It's impossible. It would not happen. They would have to prove to me beyond a shadow of a doubt. It would have to be over 50% probability for me to say, you know what? You deserve the right to play for a top 20 seed. No, you deserve to play 14 through 16. You can play for one of those seeds, sure.
So we're at a disagreement here. We're at a disagreement.
It just doesn't make sense. I don't care what Damian Lillard, and I love Dame. I don't care what Damian Lillard says. You do not deserve a chance to play for a top 20 seed. 14 through 16? Absolutely. Not a top 20. You didn't earn it. There's teams who won 45 games before the lockout, and you're not going to take their seeding. That's just wrong. It doesn't make sense. It's stupid.
So we're at a disagreement here, but what do you think about, let's move to the NFL as far as DeAndre Hopkins saying he deserves to be in the same sentence as Michael Thomas and Julio Jones.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Who's not putting D-Hop in that conversation? If you're not putting D-Hop in that conversation, you're wrong. D-Hop, he potentially is the best wide receiver in the NFL. Michael Thomas is very physical. He runs, a lot of shorter routes, a lot of possession routes. He's kind of a modern-day Chris Carter. There's nothing wrong with that. Chris Carter's a Hall of Famer. Mike Thomas he's a possession guy, right? You throw to him on 3rd and 6, right, on a curl route because he's going to catch it and he's past the first down marker. Julio Jones is a modern day Randy Moss. DeAndre Hopkins is not as good as Randy Moss, unfortunately. I wish he was because he's very physical. He's great hands. I like DeAndre's game. He reminds me more of the Larry Fitzgerald type of mold. But Julio Jones is more like a Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson type of guy. Absolute athletic freak. Great route runner. Amazing, jumping ability, great hands, very physical.
And I want to talk about that.
DeAndre Hopkins, he can't be compared to Julio Jones, unfortunately. DeAndre Hopkins is a modern day Larry Fitzgerald. Not that fast, but still very athletic. Can get a lot of separation. Great hands, very physical, great jumper. He's a top 3 wide receiver in the league, easily. I'd take him over Mike Thomas.
So a lot of ESPN analysts were saying that Michael Thomas, D-Hop, Julio Jones weren't in the same category. But I say that to say this.
But which one's not in the same category?
They were saying that D-Hop was not in the same category as Michael Thomas and Julio. They were saying Michael Thomas and Julio Jones are a different stratosphere.
Wow.
But I say that to say this. I may give him Julio Jones in a different stratosphere. I'm not giving him Mike Thomas. Mike Thomas gets about 20 fucking targets a game. Michael Thomas gets about 20 targets a game over D-Hop.
Mm-hmm.
D-Hop has had subpar quarterbacks his whole career. And I'm going to go on record and say that...
Don't do it.
Deshaun Watson...
Don't do it.
What does he prove?
Don't do it.
Has Deshaun Watson got them to a conference championship?
Don't do it.
Has Deshaun Watson really proved that he's that guy?
Don't do it.
Deshaun Watson, he has got him to the playoffs, but has he taken him over the hump for him to be an elite quarterback in the league?
Deshaun Watson is very good. Their coaching
He's very
bad.
good. I love
their coaching is bad. Don't blame Deshaun. Their coaching is bad.
So take the bad coaching into consideration, and we all know Sean Payton. What is he as a coach?
Excellent
coach. Who's the coach for the Atlanta Falcons? Don't tell me.
Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn.
He's not an offensive guy. But it's Julio Jones. You don't need to be smart.
You don't need to be smart. But
yeah,
what was the coach prior to that? Kyle Shanahan.
No, he wasn't a head coach.
But he was
Mike Smith.
He was offensive coordinator.
For Atlanta?
Yes. Because he left Atlanta to get the job.
Yeah. The Super Bowl year. Yeah.
So we're talking about great coaches here. And D-Hop has never had a coach that we would ever consider to be a great coach. So as far as like putting them on the same level, I put D-Hop and Michael Thomas on the same level. Michael Thomas is targeted a hell of a lot more than D-Hop. D-Hop has more raw, natural ability and natural talent than Michael Thomas. So if I had to pick best receivers in the league, top 5 off the top of my head, Julio, D-Hop at 2, Michael Thomas at 3. At 4, I may have to go... Shoot, I don't know. Where do I go? AB?
No. What the?
AB's not in the league, but I may go AB at 4.
No.
Let me go. Let me name my top 5. I may go AB at 4, and at 5 I may go. I may go Mike Evans. AB Mike Evans.
I would go Mike Evans at 4. I would still put Odell at 5.
I can't. in good faith, I can't put Odell at 5.
Yeah, because you would.
When's the last time he had a good year?
Because you would be biased.
No, when's the last time he had a good year?
Because you would be biased. I would still put Odell in the top 5. Talent, extraordinary. Probably in the top 5 of those receivers we named, Odell's probably the most talented.
So you would put. I can agree, but you would put as far as let's not go based off talent. Let's go based off numbers and what we see right now.
But Odell has had bum QBs. Baker, bad.
That's one.
Listen, Baker, bad coaching, a young quarterback who doesn't.
That's the only bum quarterback he's ever had in his life.
Baker, bad coaching.
Yeah, we said that.
Young QB, doesn't know how to, make the smart play.
Yeah, we said that.
Eli Manning, the end of his career, absolute scrub. And listen.
You're talking about a 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Eli's a Hall of Famer. At the end of his career, last 2 years or so, bum. Absolute bum. Pathetic football player. Not good at all. But Odell, I would still put Odell in the top 5, just off of talent and stuff. I can't really think of anybody else who I would put over. What am I going to say? Adam Thielen? Fuck no.
Ooh, I like Adam Thielen.
I don't like Adam Thielen over Odell.
Adam Thielen works hard.
Not. If I put Odell in the Vikings system, he would definitely put up Adam Thielen stats, probably better.
So what do you think Stephon Diggs is going to do in Buffalo?
I think he'll be right. He's the only receiver in Buffalo. They're going to run the ball a lot. They're going to use Josh Allen kind of like Lamar Jackson because they see how well that worked. And they're going to use Stephon Diggs as a possession receiver. He'll have a good year. 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns.
I don't see that for Stephon Diggs. I see maybe 800 yards.
Jesus, if he only has 800 yards, that means Josh only threw for 3,200.
I see Josh Allen not having a great year.
I see Josh, but who's he playing?
That's true. I didn't think about it like that. I didn't think about his conference because he's not playing Tom Brady, but he's still playing the Bucks, right? The Bucks are in that division, right?
No. It's the Patriots, the Jets, Buffalo, the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins' defense is going to be pretty decent. I think their defense will be pretty decent.
In that division, Josh may go hard because I heard Buffalo. I heard
Patriots defense. They ain't going to be shit. They're not going to play that. They're going to be on the field too much. Jets defense also not going to be shit because the secondary is not good.
Yeah, because Jamal Adams wants to get out of there. He may not play hard this year.
It ain't Jamal Adams' fault. They don't have a single cornerback on the goddamn roster. Also, Buffalo is a second place team, so they get to play a second place schedule.
That's true.
They'll be all right. So DeAndre Hopkins is not in the same category as Michael Thomas and Julio. It doesn't even make sense. Julio, to me, is the best wide receiver in the past 5 or 6 years. Just because you can say a dude like Antonio Brown, you can say a dude like Odell, who had a hot start to his career. But Julio Jones is all of those dudes except 6'4" and equally good statistics. So a dude like Antonio Brown had great stats. Smaller guy, very quick, very an excellent route runner. Great hands, great stats. Julio Jones had equally as good stats, actually. But bigger, just as fast. I got to take that dude more. That's like comparing Randy Moss to fucking Marvin Harrison. The stats are damn near identical. Yeah, stats are damn near identical, but one of them's 6'4" and runs a 4.4. That's the one who's better. The big guy who's fast. That's the better one.
If we were talking top 5, yeah, I mean Julio should be everybody's number 1. And we're talking top 5 in the last 5 years, but as far as you putting Odell in the top 5, I can't sit back in good faith let that happen.
I have to, just because I know that.
What has he done?
Odell had
1,000 yards first 3 seasons. What has he done since then?
His first 3 years in the league were historically good.
Yeah, Randy Moss level.
Yeah, then Eli.
Are we saying Eli, or let's talk about his coaching?
The coaching was bad too. Yeah.
Let's talk about
everybody knows the New York Giants. McAdoo. Everybody knows the Giants.
Let's talk coaching first before we shit on the Giants organization. Let's talk
coaching
first.
Everybody knows the Giants coaching was terrible, but also Eli, he dipped off. It's not his fault. He's old. He dipped off. He's just downhill. And then Odell went to Cleveland. Cleveland had a coach who turned out to be an idiot.
Yeah, everybody knew Freddie Kitchens was not going to be shit.
And see, this is just me being an optimist. I thought, how bad can you be with
Odell.
Baker Mayfield, who wasn't bad. His rookie year, he was decent. Odell, Jarvis Landry, David Njoku, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt coming back week 8. How bad can you be? How bad of a coach can you be where you squander
Callaway.
that?
They also had Callaway coming in as the fourth receiver, which they dropped because they couldn't control his attitude, which was funny as fuck to me. Don't know how that happened.
But how bad can you be as a coach that those guys don't at least get you 9 wins? And the defense was solid too. The defense
to have the reports of guys running up to the opposing team and saying, "Come get me," that's nuts.
Exactly.
That's nuts.
That's a bad organization. That's not even the player's fault. That's a bad organization. That's just bad. That's all around bad. So I didn't expect that. I thought Freddie Kitchens would be a rookie guy, and I was like, they'll go 8-8. But the offensive statistics, I thought they would be like Cliff Kingsbury. Offensive statistics will be very good, but the team won't be good.
Have you heard any reports from? Are they fucking with Cliff in Arizona?
Obviously, yeah. They had a good offensive year. A solid offensive year.
No, because they fired the offensive coordinator like the last 4 weeks, I think, right?
Did they?
They did something in the last 4 weeks.
Cliff is the offensive coordinator. Why do they need one?
They did something in the last 4 weeks where their offense flipped the switch and they snapped.
They're probably trying to save money because Cliff's the offensive coordinator. Why? If you hire an offensive-minded head coach, you don't need an offensive coordinator. He's supposed to be the guy calling the plays and designing the playbook.
So what do you think about the NFL's post they put on Instagram? What do you think about the NFL's post that they put on Instagram about them supporting the black cause and supporting the taking of a knee? Let's talk about that.
This face is fake. I'm not.
Do you respect that?
I'm not as mad as some people are, where they're like, "Well, you motherfuckers are the ones who blackballed Colin Kaepernick." Listen, the NFL is an organization with 32 teams. I'm going to say 31 of the teams are old white dudes. The owners, old white dudes with a bunch of money. One guy, Shad Khan, who owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, is a Middle Eastern dude. Everybody else, old white dude. Right, born in the 40s and shit, like old ass white dudes. Some of the teams are teams who were owned since the 20s and just been passed down. The Giants and the Steelers are old money from the 20s who's been passed down. Right, it's the same old white dude every single time. So it's really like 100-year-old white dude. The commissioner, older white guy, takes orders from older white guys. I don't think that there's any way that they can even understand how to be a progressive organization. There's no way that they can, right? At least in the NBA, Adam Silver's, kind of a middle-aged Jewish guy. Was he 50-something, 60-something Jewish guy? He at least understands some part of, struggling and being a minority and, being an immigrant and stuff like that. Like, he kind of understands some of that stuff and he can work with the players. In the NFL, there's no sort of connection like that whatsoever. The owners in the NFL are literally owners, like damn near kind of like slave owner type of older people. I don't think they know any better. It's nice that after Colin Kaepernick, after all that stuff happened, you had a lot of players like Malcolm Jenkins and, others who kind of banded with the NFL and said, listen, we need to set aside some sort of money, some sort of allocation. It's the richest business in America, really. Right? And we need to set aside some sort of money, some sort of, just resources, whatever, to help, affected communities and, just to speak out, et cetera, et cetera. I remember 2 years ago, Philly used their, yearly allocation under like the Justice Fund that the NFL does now since Colin Kaepernick got banned and they had to save face and now they have to donate money. The Philadelphia Eagles used their money to bail out like low-level offenders for Christmas, which cool, right? You take $1 million and you bail out 5,000 citizens who were in jail for parking tickets and shit like that over Christmas time, which is cool. Like, that's great. That's awesome. The NFL statement is just like that. It's tone deaf, right? They're trying to say something, but they don't know how to say it because they're old and they're stupid and they're white and they're rich. They're just like, I hope everything turns out okay. They don't really fucking understand what's going on. I hope it all turns out.
It's tone deaf for me, and the simple fact that you can't automatically support taking a knee if the person who took the knee in the league is still out of the league. Not based on the fact that he wasn't a good quarterback, not based on the fact that he wasn't a winning quarterback, But based on the fact that he took a knee and your fan base didn't appreciate that, so now you blackballed him for the league. So now I can't respect you automatically putting out a comment based on you supporting the taking of the knees by cops and things of that nature. And it's also funny to me that now all of a sudden cops taking a knee. We're before Kaepernick took a knee, was that a thing?
He's a son of a bitch.
Before Kaepernick took a knee, taking a knee for social justice was never a thing.
The vice president of the United States went to an Indianapolis Colts game, and a few players took a knee during the national anthem, and he made it a point to go on social media and take a picture of him and his wife leaving the game because they were so upset and so appalled by kneeling during the national anthem. Same guy came back this week and said, I wish there were peaceful protests going on. Why?
Mike Pence.
Mike Pence.
So now,
why aren't there peaceful protests going on that's unnecessary to be violent and damaging? Dude, you literally went on social media, you showed everybody, you tried to make a huge statement of people are protesting peacefully by taking a knee during the national anthem. Whether you think it's disrespectful to the flag or not is irrelevant. It's stupid. You're dumb if you think that. I don't care. Right? It's irrelevant anyway. It's a silent protest. And you got up and left and said, these people are terrible. They're the worst type of people. We shouldn't respect them at all. And now, a couple years later, you're like, oh, I wish that someone was quietly protesting. You told them they were wrong. And you told them they were stupid and bad. What are you, like? What the fuck? That's what I'm talking about with the NFL being tone deaf. They're all old, rich, white dudes. So, like, Trump is their buddy, whether they agree with his politics or not, right? His economic politics agree with them, right? It's the same thing. Like, people keep putting out stuff, oh, Disney, Chick-fil-A, blah, 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 blah. They all support Trump, right? They're rich organizations. They need a Republican president to survive. That's what they need, right? Same thing with NFL owners. They need a Republican president to survive. They don't care what his actually identity politics are. They don't give a shit, right? So what happens is we're too far gone into the shit. They realize it. Now they're trying to save face. Oh, well, you know, we're with the communities and we've always tried to be with the communities. We put some money out there. We do this, we do that, blah, 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 blah. And like you said, they had a dude telling them exactly, giving them the playbook of how to help these communities and how to do this and how to do that years ago, and they ignored it. And now it just seems like, to the average citizen, it just seems like bullshit.
Bullshit, that's all it is.
It just seems like bullshit. To me, I'm like, I know that they're just stupid, but to most people, it just seems like bullshit. It seems like lies. It seems like they're just trying to profit off of the protests and the, you know, the hate.
So all in all, we're not accepting, or not accepting, but all in all, the NFL taking this stance as far as like supporting the knee is bullshit, because when we really need them to support the knee, what'd they do? They ousted a Super Bowl quarterback, a winning quarterback, a quarterback who had no moral issues. They ousted him out of the league and blackballed him for the simple fact that he kneed and the fans didn't appreciate that. Now we're on Facebook and the fans who didn't appreciate that are not appreciating the silent protest. But at the same time, why didn't we silent protest in Iraq or silent protest in Vietnam? Because sometimes violence is the only answer to some things. Sad but true, violence draws more attention to things.
You gotta hit them in the pockets.
That's all it is. But as far as, you know, the sports podcast, I'm pretty sure that's the end of it. And we really just want to come and shed light on things. Rest in peace, George Floyd. Rest in peace, anybody else who's been...
Taylor, anybody.
Yeah, anybody else that's been affected by police brutality. And this podcast does stand with that. Even if we don't put it on our main page, we still stand with that because we have, you know, certain things we can't post.
I do, but Adrian's page is more of like a Hitch. Like, you ever seen the movie Hitch with Will Smith? That's more of his page. I'm, you know, a sexual page.
I can't fuck up the money.
Yeah, a sexual page.
I can't fuck up the money,
that's what it is. But
we do.
I'll speak out on those things.
We do stand with you guys as far as things like that, and we're always going to be here to set you guys true. But other than that, adios amigos. We'll be back next week. Things of that nature.